Bom dia, good day, bem-vindo, and welcome to the Facebook page of the Georgia-Pernambuco Partners of the Americas. My name is Tina Maria, and today I'm going to demonstrate how to make my favorite street food from northeastern Brazil, tapioca. Now we know tapioca as the ingredient that we add to congeal the fruit in fruit pies. But in Brazil, they've developed an entirely different way of preparing tapioca flour into the most magnificent crepe. But before I go into those details in my kitchen, I want to share some information about the Partners of the Americas and its mission. The Georgia-Pernambuco Partners is a chapter of the National Association of the Partners of Americas in Washington, D.C. It's an international non-governmental organization that was founded in 1964 in support of citizen volunteers working together from Latin America, the Caribbean, and the United States to improve the lives of people throughout the Western Hemisphere through a variety of professional activities. Currently, there are 120 chapters linked to 60 partnerships throughout the Western Hemisphere. Since its establishment in 1968, the Georgia-Pernambuco Partnership has developed exchange programs matching families and professionals by occupational themes. And they include learning and service opportunities through volunteering. Going into our next 50 years, the goal is to increase program development and community engagement in order to provide opportunities for chapter members in both Georgia and Pernambuco, Brazil. So this video is really intended to introduce you to our organization and to hopefully encourage you to join this progressive endeavor in our Western Hemisphere. So without any further ado, let's go into the kitchen and I'll talk a little bit more about tapioca. So we're now in my kitchen, and I just want to take a few moments to discuss this product, this flour product, tapioca. We know it in North America as a granular substance that we add to our fruit pies. We also make tapioca pudding. But the natural form is a tuber coming from what we call yucca or cassava, and it is indigenous to the Americas. Now, in the case of the Brazilians' version of tapioca, they've created a flour that's gone through a pretty intricate process to prepare for this crepe preparation that we're going to make today. But the magic of their tapioca is that when you put it in the frying pan, it is to make this crepe, it doesn't require one drop of oil. And that is really quite fascinating to watch as it is cooked, as it comes together. So I wanted to also point out that I purchased this in the greater metro area of Atlanta in the Brazilian community there in Cobb County. However, you can purchase it through Red Mill's brand because they make a real assortment of different kinds of flours from different nuts and grains and that kind of thing. So you can get it through there, but be careful, it's tapioca flour and not cassava flour. Again, coming from the same root, from the same plant, but processed differently for the preparation of different foods. And then finally, I really want to encourage you all to watch YouTube videos on the preparation of the Brazilian tapioca, because there's so many different things that you can add to it to fill the crepe. And so finally, we're using a frying pan. I have a wrought iron frying pan, but you can cook it in any frying pan that you like. Just make sure no oil. And have a spatula in hand, that would be helpful. I have two, depending on the size of the frying pans I'm using, and a spoon to press it through the strainer or sieve. You don't have to, but it helps. Okay, I think that about covers it, and we're going to go to my stove and I'll show you this fascinating magical process. Well, okay, I have the tapioca here that I've put into this bowl. I've switched to a larger frying pan, which is still wrought iron, mainly so that I could make it a lot easier to see what's going on than with the smaller pan. And then the other reason is that I love a big crepe. But a lot of times the ones that you'll find on the street so often are really made in a smaller pan, closer to the size that I showed you earlier. So I put it in, and now I'm pressing it through the strainer, the sieve, very much like snow is what it looks like. It comes through like falling snow. And you try to make sure that you don't leave any holes, that it's not thin in certain areas. So after you do this, you simply go around with the spoon and just sort of move it around and make sure it's in the corners. And again, I want to remind you that there's no oil in this pan. And it takes this medium-high heat, because you really don't want it to be too cool. You want it to be a medium-high heat, such that when the grains touch the pan, they start to communicate with each other. And as you see, as I can move that, it's already holding together. And so, as I mentioned earlier, we're keeping this very simple. This is con queijo with cheese. And I have, well, I'm getting a little ahead of myself. I need to flip this, turn this over gently. And as you see, the edges, I think I might need to use my other one. Let's see. Just turn that over gently. And then simply add the cheese on 1/2. As I'm doing here. And then give it an opportunity, once you do that, you want to fold it over. Press it down so the cheese can melt. And again, you can use a grated coconut, because they have the tapioca con coco, or you can put anything that you want to put in this. We just happen to be making the tapioca with cheese, tapioca con queijo. And it's only a minute. With the right temperature, it's only a minute to one side that you'll see the tapioca locking up, holding together, and then you flip it and then add your goodies. And just in another minute, it will be ready to eat. Now, because this is of a good size here, I'm going to cut it in half. You don't have to. It's something I like to do. I think she's just about done. And then it is a bon appetit, or gostoso, as the Brazilians like to say, or delicioso. Tapioca com queijo é muito gostoso.